Welcome back to Perkins Pipes. Got out as much green as I've got in my, in my house, I guess. I got my green ball cap on, got a little green on the shirt here, and I have the exquisite, oh, do I mean exquisite, green handcrafted pipe from Caleb at the Catholic Pipe Company for my new book, The Golden Waffle Principle, Finding the Meaning in Teaching. Friends, I just love this pipe so much. Oh, it's big, it just smokes well, and man, that pearlescent stem with the green bowl, really love this guy. Why the green? You're about to find out, folks. Let's get this guy lit as always, and let's get to talking. Why all the green? Well, it's another one of my episodes on comic books. Action superhero comic books that I enjoyed back in the day. Now, I have talked about The Flash, DC Comics. Who truly was my favorite. I talked about Rom, Space Knight from Marvel. Now we're going back to DC for another one that I loved, and that was the Green Lantern. At the time when I was reading comic books, the Green Lantern of Earth, and we're going to make that distinction, in our sector of the universe, was Hal Jordan, a test pilot, a man seemingly born without fear. And there was, he had an encounter one day with an alien, came to Earth, crash landed, and was dying. A guy named Abin Sur. Abin Sur was a Green Lantern. And he had this ring, power ring, and when a Green Lantern died, the ring would select somebody new in that sector of the galaxy to whom to give the ring, who would take his place. Hal Jordan becomes the new Green Lantern for our sector of the universe. Quickly learns the ins and outs of how this thing works. It turns out there's a group of people called the Guardians. Now, don't think about that movie or the comic book Guardians of the Galaxy. That's Marvel, whole other thing. The Guardians were these little blue guys, and don't think Smurfs. These were really old men. And they resided on the planet Oa, O-A. And they were in charge of the Green Lantern Corps. And there were thousands of Green Lanterns from all different species of intelligent creature from across the universe. And the way it worked, you had this ring that sort of looked like a lantern. Plus, you had an actual lantern that you carried. And every 24 hours, you had to put your ring into the lantern and let it charge back up. And you had to recite the oath. In brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. And no, you can't tell it. I hope you take my word for it. I remember that from as a boy. I was not reading that off the screen just now. And the way it worked was that it worked with your willpower. And you could then imagine and create things that would then come out through the ring as almost like solidified energy, if you will. So, for example, I don't have a hammer. I need to hammer a nail. I could make a hammer come out of my ring and it would hammer the nail. Or a machine gun, or a spaceship, or a car, or anything else, right? So you had these different constructs that your will would create through the energy of the ring. Now, Green Lantern himself, Hal Jordan, like I say, he was a test pilot. He worked for Ferris Aircraft. He was in love with the daughter of the owner, Carl Ferris, who owned Ferris Aircraft. He was in love with his daughter, Carol Ferris. And at some point, she gets some powers, as I recall, and I'm not sure. She may have been a bad guy kind of person. I believe she was a character named Star Sapphire, as I recall. And I think she may have been bad. So maybe somebody could check me on that and put some comments there in the video if I'm remembering that correctly. Of course, there were interactions with other Green Lanterns in the Corps. One of his closest friends was a rather fish-headed looking guy, a guy named Tomar Ray. There's a really big, bulky guy named Kilowog that he palled around with. But one of the Green Lanterns had gone rogue. A guy named Sinestro, right? Sounds like sinister. And the only thing that the power of the Green Lanterns was not effective against, kind of like Superman with kryptonite, right? He's got to have that built-in weakness. Well, the built-in weakness for the power of the green ring was yellow energy. It was completely useless against yellow energy. And somehow or another, Sinestro harnessed yellow energy. So he was like the rogue lantern. So sometimes he's battling other creatures from space. There's one big bad guy named Parallax who was, he was quite the monster. But then also sometimes he had to battle Sinestro, who was from within the Corps, and all this kind of stuff. And there were other people. And then there were lots of crossovers. Green Lantern was involved with the Flash quite often. Green Lantern was involved with the Green Arrow. You may remember him, Oliver Queen. And I remember I had an action figure of Green Lantern. Probably the best thing, though, was I wanted a Green Lantern ring when I was a boy. And my mom did the coolest thing ever. I think I asked her to do it. If I'm not mistaken, I asked her to do this for me. She took a green marker and drew a ring around my finger and drew a lantern shape on the top of my finger. So I have my own Green Lantern ring. Could run around the house and be the Green Lantern. I thought he looked cool. Had cool outfit. I loved the rhyming creed that he had to recite whenever he charged up his ring every 24 hours. I thought that was neat. Very much liked the space concept and his interaction with some of the other superheroes. He's part of the Justice League, which was the big organization of DC superheroes. Kind of like the Avengers is the big organization for Marvel's superheroes. And then, lo and behold, sometime in the early 2000s, our son was just the right age, I don't know, 9, 10, somewhere in there. The Green Lantern movie came out, starring Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern. Oh boy, were we excited to go see that. So he and I went to go see it. I'm going to tell you, we had the most fantastic day. I'm going to make sure my son sees this video. Like I say, he's a young adult man now, out on his own, but we still recall that particular day. He and I went to a local park. We shot baskets that day. I think we were waiting for the movie to start. Then we went over to the movie theater and we saw the Green Lantern, and it was just a special day for father and son. And then, of course, when it came out on DVD, we had to get it. And this is one of those movies that the actors involved kind of don't want to acknowledge. Ryan Reynolds is not proud of the Green Lantern movie. I think it's gotten pretty bad reviews over time, which I got to say I think are unfair. The special effects were fantastic. The suit, the uniform, the Green Lantern wore, excellent. The way they depicted the ring and these energy constructs that would come out of the ring, beautifully done. Great depictions of some of the other Green Lanterns in the Green Lantern Corps. Got those just right, according to the comic book. Had the relationship with Carol Ferris and Ferris Aircraft. Just did everything. Had the origin story where this alien Abin Sur crash landed into the earth and gave the ring to Hal Jordan. It was great. What the movie did poorly, they tried to do too much. They had an origin story. Then they had not one, but two major enemies for Green Lantern to fight. He had to learn how to use the ring, so that part of the story was very, very short. His training was very, very short. Next thing you know, he's out fighting this intergalactic bad guy called Parallax, and at the same time, another one of his earthbound foes, a guy named Hector Hammond. And then at the very end of the movie, you see the Green Lantern named Sinestro about to go rogue. End of the movie, clearly set up for a sequel that was never made. I think it's never made just because the first one did so poorly. And I think the only reason it did poorly was, again, it tried to accomplish too much in the space of the movie. It should have been an origin story, development of the skills, and one major battle. That's what should have happened, I think, structurally in the story. Nonetheless, my son and I loved it because it was the Green Lantern. It was one of those I had a subscription to back in the days when you could get subscriptions to comics. I subscribed to The Flash, ROM, Green Lantern, and one other that's going to come up in another video. Eventually, there were other Green Lanterns even from Earth. There was a guy named Guy Gardner. I remember, or he may have been the Green Lantern from Earth too. I'm not sure. I feel like Guy Gardner might have been from our Earth. But there were others as well, and just the universe of Green Lantern expanded long after I stopped reading comics. Anyhow, very curious. Do you know Green Lantern? Did you ever like Green Lantern? Did you ever read Green Lantern? Did you see that movie? Or the Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds? And if so, what did you think of it? Folks, I am going to enjoy the rest of this pipe. It's a good long smoke. As Malcolm Guite likes to say, I do these little things in order at last to do nothing. Or as I like to say in Latin, Parva ago ut tandem, nihil agam. Have a wonderful day.